Hello and welcome to my guide for the Colony Manager mod. I'm Icon, and in this video I'm going to wrap up how to use this mod and what it can do for you. As usual, I have put all the topics into the description box with timestamps, so if you're looking for a certain topic, off you go. So to get started, I want to talk about the basic functions of the mod, and that's just covering what it does for you. So the Colony Manager mod adds in a new job, the managing job, and the manager window here. In short words, this mod allows you to automate certain tasks in your colony. You can tell the mod how much wood you want to have, how much food you want to have, and it will make it so that your people do it automatically. That's what the mod does in basics. So you can do this by assigning jobs here. You see there's different categories, and you click here into the new job, and then you can configure the jobs. Tell them how many animals to hunt for the food, tell them how many trees to chop for the wood, and so on and so forth. We're going to go over all of these topics. I just wanted to mention how it works in general. So to manage your people, you need somebody with a managing job. You need to build up a manager desk, and you need to assign a job. Let's just do that very basically and get into the details later. So we're going to tell our people that we want wood chopping. I'm going to just select new job. Here you see how much wood we should actually have, and we're setting that to a new goal, like let's say 2000, manage, and now we created a new job. And now what this will do is the game will check, is the threshold reached? If no, it will assign people to do the job according to the rules we just set up. I'm going to go over how to set these jobs up properly in the course of the video, but that's what the mod does. You set up a goal, and then your manager goes to the table and assigns the jobs to the people, and then they'll do it according to their schedules. So that means you will have to have somebody on the managing job to manage the actual jobs that you design, and of course you need to have colonists that have these tasks enabled to get the job done. Otherwise nothing will happen. And then in this screen you see here how often the job was updated. When you click that, you can set up how often it should be updated. If you say, let's say every 4 hours, that means your manager will go every 4 hours there, check, is the threshold reached? Are enough trees marked to reach that threshold? If yes, I'll do nothing. If no, I'll make it so that this threshold will be reached. And that's how this entire mod basically works. And here you can just set up how often the manager has to check that. To end the basics section here in the research tab, you can research a couple of extra technologies. Once you have researched the AI manager, this is a really bulky thing, you can put up a persona core and some plasteel to create a managing desk that does that threshold checking automatically, so you don't need people anymore for the manager job. Besides that, these tables come in 3 qualities: basic with a computer and the automatic one. It's just how fast the job gets done when the manager sits there. That's the only difference. Okay, those are the basics. And if you are still a little bit confused, don't you worry. We're going to create a job in every single roster, and I'm going to explain how everything works now in the course of the video. So let's get started with the hunting tab, because I want to do these in the order they show up. It's pretty simple. So we get over here into the hunting tab, we set up a new job. So up here we get to select how much meat is supposed to be there. So the standard target is at 500. You can also set up you can also put up the gear wheel here and tell it to check only a certain stockpile of yours, which is pretty cool. You can also tell the game what kind of meat it should count here, if you're only looking for, I don't know what, whatever. There's also a couple of basic designators, if it should count human meat or not, if it should count everything on the map or not, and so on and so forth. It's pretty self-explanatory. What you have to do here, though, is to set up which kind of animals are allowed to be hunted. So let's say turkeys, tortoises, squirrels, rats, raccoons, all the harmless races I will enable here. Guinea pigs, gazelles, donkeys, deers, and so on and so forth. And as soon as these things are done, we're just clicking manage, and now this job has been created. Over here in the overview section, we see now here the job has been created. Wonderful. So that's how you set up the hunting goal. Now, from this point on, your people will try to fulfill that. So you get the readout here that all jobs are done, but most of the time that's a lie. They do this once per day, and I can't automatically force him to refresh that. So if that ever annoys you, just put this onto an every hour thingy, and let's see, because they only recheck after the timer has been spent. And now let's see what happens here. So Ravis goes to this thing here, and now after he did his job, he designated all these. You see? There's now... That's what you would do as a player if you would try to get that necessary food together. And now when you check out the manager tab, there's now, it has changed, 97 in storage, 0 expected from butchery, and 500 expected from current designations. So that means the game has calculated that the corpses that are designated now will be worth 500. That's that. And here you can configure that in all detail, in which zones there should be hunted. You can really do a pretty specific setup with that. You could also say that certain predators should be automatically hunted whenever they show up. I really like what this does, and that's how you automate animal hunting. And this trick here with the refreshing thing, if you put it now onto a daily routine, that'll be enough. But if you want to kickstart these jobs, just do it like I showed you. Okay, and there's really not much more to be said about the hunting, so let's get over to Forestry. Forestry, well, you might have already assumed it works pretty similar to that. So we get into the new job, and here's the wood logging thing. We already covered that a little bit, so let's put up a certain target count, but you know what, we're going to do something different here. So I have demonstrated it. So new stockpile zone, boom, and I'll rename that one into, where's the rename button here, into timber. And now let's get into the manager screen. Wood logging, we're going to tell this thing that it has to check in the timber section, and we want to have 500 units of timber here. I allowed to use oak and poplar trees for that, and only chop fully matured trees, and well, the rest we already talked about that. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do, and that's pretty cool, is you can clear areas for that. So let's do this. Build a new wind turbine with the power of the dev mode. Here. Let's connect that real quick. And as you can see here, this thing is totally blocked. And with the manager tool, you can also put up a clear area job. And here you see we're going to clear wind turbine cells. We enable that. And now we're, well, as you see here, the zone ain't big enough. So we're going to expand the home area a little bit so it can work. If it wouldn't, they wouldn't assign those. And now let's get back into that. Here, clear wind turbine cells is checked. What's really important now is that you also switch on the check mark for trees. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. And now manage. And let's get this party started. And Ravis now goes over there, does his manager magic. And now you see we're cleaning out this area. There we go. And they're only filling this stockpile zone now with that timber. And that's how the trick works. As you see here now, we expanded that clearing job. for that chopping job. Let's check out what happened here. So he now started to clear out a really large amount of that. The entire home area is now getting cleared from trees with that setup. Not only the wind turbine cells, but the entire home area. So as you can, I just wanted to give you a couple of examples of what you can do with that forestry thing. I really like what it does, but the most important and mostly used part will be that wood logging thing. Just yeah, I think there's all the features explained now there, and let's get over to the animals. That's a real fun part. So you can manage your animals here as well, or in general all the animals on the map as well. So for example, let's check out guinea pigs. So you see here how many you have tamed and how many there are in the wild. So let's create a job for guinea pigs. Now, here you can tell the game how many animals you want to have from this stockpile tops. So you can tell it to, this is your maximum amount. You can also say auto designate to be tamed, which zone, all right. And here butcher access livestock. So once we have more than 2 adult male and female specimen, they go off to the butcher's table. You have here a little bit of an overview how to do this. And also you can here configure if these should be butchered, if they are trained, pregnant, or bonded. You can also tell the game whether or not you want the animals that are tamed to be trained or not, and so on and so forth. So with this, here you can restrict animals to a specific area too. And with this, you can really automate a lot of things. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory here. And with this, you can not only manage your livestock, you can also manage your army forces. So you can also tell the game how to handle your personal army of Megasloth and how to train them and when to butcher them and whatnot. It's really, really good. And yeah, I guess you get the idea what you can do with that on your own. And beyond that, well, we created now a job for guinea pigs. And just to show you what that does, one more time, Ravis go managing, and boom. He now designated in the wildlife a couple of guinea pigs to be tamed because we are supposed to have 2 of each race, and I have allowed him to do so. And that's what this does. I really like that. It really makes things a lot easier for you. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the next menu, the Forage. So Forage is, after we have seen all these other methods, not really anything new. It is practically identical to the Forestry wood logging menu. You can only tell here what kind of forageable plants should be gathered. What I personally really like to mention here is, first off, you can configure whether or not to gather from fully matured plants. But what really what really made me happy was, for example, creating a job for heal root to tell that I want to automatically forage until I have, for example, 130 heal root. This will make it happen that you will have ultimately every single freaking heal root on the map automatically foraged. And that's really cool because, you know, it is pretty annoying to do that manually, you know? And beyond that, of course, the obvious things can be done. You can set up a certain stockpile of berries and whatnot. You can also tell the game to harvest your ambrosia bushes, and I really like what that does because it simplifies those foraging jobs on the map a lot. Okay, but there's really not much more to it explained. Just wanted to mention that you can handle your medicine production pretty decently with that as well. Let's get to something more interesting, and that's the mining tab. So mining is a pretty interesting technology here on its own. You can, well, technology is the wrong thing. It's a pretty interesting tab here on its own. So here you can set up the usual suspects, if you want to say so. So we're going to use the timber zone here. So we're going to count our materials here only in the zone timber. And we're going to tell the game to collect some compacted steel for us. How about that? And we're also going to tell the game to collect some slate for us on top of that. So here we go. Boom. Compacted steel. And let's do the same thing for slate. Only in that zone, please. Thank you. And here we go. And as usual, we're going to take that timer trick to force rabbits to do something. And now let's check out what happened here. So we have now mining jobs for all of these, and we have mining jobs for all of these. This the game does now calculate how many chunks there are supposed to spawn out of that, but it will be regulated every time. So as you've seen here, Ravis has assigned new mining jobs accordingly when there wasn't enough chunk spawn happening to fulfill the desire of these 500. What this doesn't do though is cut stone blocks for you from the table, so it doesn't designate the jobs there either. The colony manager mod can't do that for you, as far as I know at least. What you also can do is bring up a job that's just configured to deconstruct buildings, which is really cool, because this only works towards unclaimed buildings. Don't you worry, you won't be deconstructing any of your own thingies here. So let's do that. Well, job has been suspended here. Threshold has been reached. Well, that's not supposed to happen. That's happening. You just don't go for any stockpile. You can't just set up a mini stockpile just like that and then assign the job to that. Usually that does the trick. There we go. Cool. So that's a little bit odd because we're not exactly mining here, but let's check out what that does. And boom. Now, all the ruins on the map have been flagged for deconstruction henceforth. So there's really a couple of cool tricks that you can do with that. Guess you can find out some on your own. So I really like what that does though. If you want to clean out the map from all these things and don't break a sweat, that's how you can do it. Okay, and now let's get into the last topic, which is, well, only something to show. That's the topic power. So you can also have a precise power readout, but as you see here, no managing station has power. You will need a manager desk with power access to get the job done. And here we go. So now you can have here a readout of your power production in different periods, but honestly, it doesn't do that much beyond that. So area has been revealed. Oh yeah, they're deconstructing the ancient danger as well. So take this as a word of warning when you're auto deconstructing your map. There are threats behind that. Okay, so yeah, the power readout, I mean, there's not really much to say. It's pretty neat that you can check out what your production is consisting of and what kind of consumption is happening, because there's no real readout in the game, and I guess that was the idea of the mod creator. Okay, so that sums it up. That's all I wanted to say about the colony manager, and I hope you guys found that helpful. Drop your comments down below, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and of course consider subscribing. There's daily content popping up on my channel. All you need to do is hit that notification bell to not miss anything. Beyond that, I'd be super happy if you'd check out the other links in my description box. There's my Twitch channel where I do regular streams, and also my Discord community, and last but not least, there's also links for direct support of my channel. I'd be delighted if you check them out. But if not, don't you worry either. I say thanks for watching because that really means a lot to me. See you guys next time, and happy colony managing.